Since time immemorial, mermaids have sailed through the turbulent waters of our imagination, emerging in the legends and myths of cultures around the world. These mythical beings, half human and half fish, have captured universal fascination, embodying the mystery, beauty, and sometimes the danger of the unexplored oceans. Throughout the centuries, mermaids have been the protagonists of stories that speak of enchantments, impossible loves, and maritime adventures. Today, we will dive into the depths of these tales to unravel the most popular myths surrounding mermaids. From their supposed existence to the extraordinary powers attributed to them, we will explore how these creatures have influenced culture and art throughout history. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on this fascinating journey through the world of mermaids, and discover together the truth behind these legendary beings. Myth number 5. Mermaids are malevolent. Throughout history, mermaids have been portrayed as fascinating creatures, but they have often been given a fearsome reputation. It is said that with their hypnotic singing and unparalleled beauty, they seduce sailors to lead them to certain death in the depths of the ocean. However, this myth does not do justice to the complexity and diversity with which different cultures have imagined these mythical creatures. Firstly, it is important to recognize that the figure of the mermaid varies greatly from one culture to another. While in some legends, indeed, they are attributed malicious intentions, in others, mermaids are benign beings, or even protectors of the sea and its inhabitants. For example, in certain folk traditions, mermaids have the power to heal diseases, offer wisdom, or guide lost sailors to safety, far from being the ruthless hunters often described in darker stories. Moreover, the idea that mermaids are inherently malevolent ignores the deeper symbolism that these figures represent in many cultures. Often, mermaids symbolize the union of two worlds, the human and the aquatic, the known and the unknown. Their presence in mythology can be interpreted as a metaphor for the mysteries of the sea and nature, rather than as a warning of real dangers. In modern literature and art, representations of mermaids have evolved even further, showing them in a more nuanced and diverse light. They are no longer limited to being villains or figures of temptation. Instead, they are portrayed as complex characters with their own stories, desires, and moralities. This reflects a shift in cultural perception towards a broader understanding of these mythical creatures, recognizing that, like humans, mermaids can be good, bad, or something in between. In conclusion, the myth that all mermaids are malevolent creatures is an oversimplification that does not do justice to the rich diversity of stories and symbolism surrounding them. By exploring the numerous facets of these mythical creatures, we can appreciate them not only as figures of fear, but as symbols of the unknown, the mysterious and the wonderfully complex world we live in. Myth number 4. Mermaids exist today. In the vast and mysterious world that is our ocean, the belief that mermaids exist today continues to captivate the imagination of many. Throughout history, sailors and explorers have sworn to have seen these mythical creatures, describing them as beings half human, half fish. But is there any truth to these modern claims? Firstly, it is important to highlight that, despite numerous accounts and supposed evidence, there is no concrete scientific proof supporting the existence of mermaids. The reported sightings are often attributed to the misidentification of marine animals, such as manatees or dugongs, which can have a vaguely human appearance from a distance or in conditions of limited visibility. Moreover, modern technology has allowed scientists to explore the ocean depths in more detail than ever before. Submarines and underwater drones have mapped extensive areas of the seabed, discovering new species and previously unknown ecosystems. However, to date, these expeditions have not found evidence of underwater civilizations or creatures resembling the mermaids of myths and legends. On the other hand, some theorize that the legends of mermaids could have arisen as a way to explain unexplainable phenomena or as warning stories about the dangers of the sea. These narratives have been passed down from generation to generation, evolving and adapting to the cultures that tell them. In the age of information, Images and videos that supposedly prove the existence of mermaids circulate on the internet, but most of these have been debunked as hoaxes or misinterpretations of visual data. Despite this, the myth of mermaids remains alive, fueled by the human desire to believe in the unknown and the magical. In conclusion, although the idea that mermaids exist today is fascinating, the lack of solid scientific evidence leads us to consider this myth as just that, a myth. Mermaids, as we know them in tales and legends, remain in the realm of fantasy, a testament to the rich human imagination and our eternal wonder for the sea and its mysteries. Myth number 3. Mermaids possess magical powers. Since time immemorial, mermaids have captivated the imagination of sailors and adventurers with stories that transcend the ordinary. Among the most fascinating myths surrounding these mythical creatures is the belief that they possess magical powers. But what is the truth in this? According to ancient legends, mermaids not only enchanted with their hypnotic beauty or their heavenly singing, but also had the power to control the weather. It was said that they could calm storms or conversely, invoke them at their will. This ability made them beings feared and respected by sailors, who often paid tribute to ensure safe journeys and calm seas. In addition to control over the weather, another power attributed to mermaids was the ability to predict the future. Through visions or prophecies, these creatures could warn about natural disasters, shipwrecks, and other misfortunes. This mystical quality endowed them with an aura of wisdom and knowledge that went beyond the earthly. However, despite the wealth of stories and accounts that attribute these powers to mermaids, there is no scientific evidence to support the existence of such magical abilities. Modern science and oceanic exploration have not been able to confirm the existence of mermaids, much less beings with supernatural capabilities. In conclusion, the myth that mermaids possess magical powers, including control over the weather and the ability to predict the future, is a fascinating mix of folklore, superstition, and the human desire to believe in the magical belief. Although these stories enrich our culture and stimulate our imagination, they remain in the realm of mythology and fantasy. Myth number 2. Mermaids only live in the ocean. Throughout history, mermaids have captivated the imagination of sailors, writers, and dreamers, emerging from the deep blue depths of the ocean with their mysterious and enchanting songs. However, the belief that these mythical creatures exclusively inhabit the vast ocean is a myth that deserves to be debunked. Beyond the salty waves, in the calm waters of rivers and lakes, there are legends of beings similar to mermaids that challenge the idea of their oceanic home. For example, in Europe, folklore is filled with stories about undines and water nymphs, magical beings that dwell in rivers and lakes, protecting their waters and sometimes interacting with humans, not unlike sea mermaids. In Africa, the water spirit, Mummy Water, is revered in several countries, often depicted as a mermaid-like figure, possessing unparalleled beauty and the power to bring about both destruction and healing. Mummy Water is worshipped in rivers and lakes as well as in the sea, demonstrating that the essence of mermaids transcends the boundaries of the ocean. In the Americas, legends of mermaid-like beings in rivers are equally fascinating. The legend of La Llorona, for example, although not a mermaid in the traditional sense, shares characteristics with mermaid stories, often being associated with bodies of water and with a song or cry that lures her victims. Asia is not left behind, with stories of aquatic creatures that inhabit its rivers and lakes, like the kappa in Japan, beings with both human and turtle characteristics, who are sometimes compared to Western mermaids for their connection to water and their interaction with humans. These stories from around the world show us that mermaids and their equivalents are not limited to oceanic depths. Rivers, lakes, and even waterfalls are homes to these fascinating creatures in global folklore. So, the next time you find yourself gazing at the calm waters of a lake or listening to the flow of a river, remember that mermaids are not confined to the ocean. Who knows, there might be one waiting just beneath the surface, ready to debunk the myth herself. Myth number 1. Mermaids sing to attract men. And we arrive at myth number 1 on our list. Mermaids sing to attract men towards them. This is, without a doubt, the most famous and fascinating myth surrounding these mythical creatures. But where does this belief come from? And how much truth is in it? The origin of this myth dates back to antiquity, with stories found in Greek mythology. Mermaids, according to the ancient Greeks, were creatures with the upper body of a woman and the lower body of a bird, or in later versions, of a fish. They were said to inhabit islands, and with their irresistible and enchanting song, lure sailors towards them. One of the most well-known tales is that of the Odyssey, where Homer describes how Odysseus orders his men to plug their ears with wax and ties himself to the mast of his ship to be able to listen to the mermaid's song without being dragged to his doom. Over the centuries, the image of mermaids and their legendary song has evolved. From being considered omens of disasters and death, they came to be seen as symbols of temptation and desire. This transformation is reflected in art and literature, where mermaids are frequently portrayed as seductive figures who use their voice to enchant men, leading them to their doom. But is there any truth to this myth? From a scientific and rational perspective, there is no evidence of the existence of half-woman, half-fish creatures that sing to attract humans. However, it is possible that this myth originated from ancient explanations of natural phenomena, not understood, or from encounters with marine animals that, to the ears of sailors, could have sounded like mysterious songs. In conclusion, the myth that mermaids sing to attract men is a reflection of how human cultures have imagined and reinterpreted the natural world throughout history. Although it lacks a basis in reality, this myth continues to captivate our imagination, demonstrating the power of stories to transcend time and continue fascinating us with the mystery of the unknown. And so we conclude our journey through the top 5 myths about mermaids. We hope you have enjoyed unraveling the truth behind these fascinating mythical creatures as much as we have. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us your comments. Do you know other myths about mermaids that you would like us to explore? See you next time. Throughout this journey through the most fascinating myths about mermaids, we have discovered how these mythical creatures have captivated humanity's imagination, influencing popular culture and our perception of them throughout history. From being feared as omens of disasters to being idealized for their beauty and song, mermaids have sailed through the waters of our fantasy, leaving a rich and diverse legacy in world folklore. We hope this tour of the most outstanding myths about mermaids has been as enchanting for you as it has been for us. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more fascinating content like this. See you next time.